Hi everyone, it's me, Lubna. Today is Saturday, August 3rd, 2024. This video is dedicated to my beloved, and the topic of this video is going to be about what determines your destiny as a human being. And I wanted to bring up another passage from this book I've been reading, Man's Search for Himself by the psychologist Rollo May, to further discuss that topic. Let me go ahead and read the passage aloud to you now. As the person gains more consciousness of self, his range of choice and his freedom proportionately increase. Freedom is cumulative. One choice made with an element of freedom makes greater freedom possible for the next choice. Each exercise of freedom enlarges the circumference of the circle of one's self. We do not mean to imply that there are not an infinite number of deterministic influences in anyone's life. If you wished to argue that we are determined by our bodies, by our economic situation, by the fact that we happened to be born into the 20th century in America, and so on, I would agree with you. And I would add many more ways in which we are psychologically determined, particularly by tendencies of which we are unconscious. But no matter how much one argues for the deterministic viewpoint, he still must grant that there is a margin in which the alive human being can be aware of what is determining him. And even if only in a very minute way to begin with, he can have some say in how he will react to the deterministic factors. Freedom is thus shown in how we relate to the deterministic realities of life. If you set out to write a sonnet, you run up against all kinds of recalcitrant realities in the laws of rhyme and scanning, and in the necessity of fitting words together. Or if you build a house, you confront all kinds of determining elements in bricks and mortar and lumber. It is essential that you know your material and accept its limits. But what you say in the sonnet, as Alfred Adler used to emphasize, is uniquely yours. The pattern and the style in which you build your house are products of how you, with an element of freedom, use the reality of the given materials. So that is all I'm going to read. I know it was kind of long, but I think everything that I read was kind of important in explaining the topic that I'm going to talk about, which is what determines your destiny. And as we read in that little passage, there are many things that are not in our control, such as the circumstances we're born into, the social condition that we're born into, the economic situation of our family, or whatever it may be, our looks, our health. Maybe we might have some genetic issues that we couldn't control, and all of those things are not under our control. So that part of destiny is determined by nature. However, our freedom comes from what we do within the constraints of the factors that are not under our control. You find real freedom when you begin to accept whatever circumstances, whatever cards you were dealt in life, and then you use those cards to the best possible advantage for yourself, and you do the best you can with what you have. And that is what Rollo May is trying to say when he gives that example of building a house. When you're building a house, you have all types of constraints, such as the properties of the materials that you're using, the bricks and the mortar and the lumber. And similarly, in your life, you have the constraints of whatever cards you were dealt in life and whatever deterministic conditions you were born into that you had no control over. For example, I might say that I had no choice in what family I was born into, who my parents were, and the way that they raised me when I was a very young child. However, what he says is that if you build a house, again, you have these constraints in the materials and the properties of those materials. However, it is up to you to determine what you're going to do with the materials that you were given. And in that sense, our destiny can really be up to us, because we can choose either one way or another on what to do with the materials and the structure that the basic structure that we were given in life. And when you realize this, there are 2 steps that really allow you to achieve freedom. First is acceptance, and then second is the courage to choose one way or another and not look back and not regret your choice. And although it's very common for us to have regrets in life, we need to learn to accept the past and accept the things that have happened and past mistakes that we have made with the choices we have made in the past. But again, our responsibility lies in accepting the past and accepting the circumstances that were out of our control, which includes past choices that we've made, which we can't change now, and then moving forward and making more and more informed choices based on our increased life experiences, which always teach us new things and how to live better. So in that sense, what determines your destiny is not just nature. Don't blame nature for everything, but you have choices, and you have the choice to go one way or another. I know that a lot of people have been very unfortunate in the circumstances that they were dealt in life, and maybe they had a difficult childhood, or they were not born into a good situation which had caused them to have problems later on in life. And everyone has problems to some extent, whoever you are, because every person and every parent has their imperfections. But like, let's say you could have the choice of going in the wrong direction, in a direction that is detrimental to your well-being and your future success. Like, you could start doing drugs, or just adopt a very unhealthy lifestyle, or just simply give up on yourself. Or you could use what you've been through to make yourself better and to teach others that you can rise up from whatever circumstances you were given, and you can be an inspiration to others, and that way you can use your experience constructively. So those 2 directions, the bad and the good, that's an example of a choice that you have that is under your control, that is a way for you to control your destiny in spite of whatever circumstances you were handed in life. So this is my message about what determines your destiny and how to shift and influence your own destiny in life. I hope that I inspired you with my video, and I hope that you learned something very valuable. And I hope you use it to make your life better too. And I want to wish you a wonderful day, afternoon, evening, or whatever it is, wherever you are in the world.